So with the Battle of Kashyyyk now behind us in battle analysis, it's a great time to talk about what happened to the planet following the end of the Clone Wars, and specifically following this battle. Let's talk about Kashyyyk after the Battle of Kashyyyk. I'm Colin, and this is Sci-Fi Deep Dive. Remember, if you enjoyed this video, to head down below and hit that subscribe button. So the Battle of Kashyyyk forever changed the course of that planet's history, and not necessarily for the better. In the battle, we saw clone troopers fighting alongside Wookiee forces native to their planet, defending their homes against a separatist attack. However, midway through that attack, the Republic began to transition from the Galactic Republic to the Galactic Empire, and the situation changed rather quickly. Now, we know that in the middle of the Battle of Kashyyyk, Order 66 was given, and there was an attempt to execute General Yoda, which ultimately failed, and he did manage to escape, but the question is more on a larger scale what happened to Kashyyyk. Well, it all happened rather quickly. In fact, the turn against the Wookiees began before the Empire actually rose to power. The Wookiees were quickly seen as having supported the Jedi and having defended Yoda, and as such, many high-ranking Wookiees were killed before the battle was even concluded, before Separatist forces had been driven back into the sea. Now, many of the Wookiee forces on the battlefield didn't know this, but they would find out quickly as they began attempting to celebrate their victory against the Separatist assault that something very treacherous had happened, with much of Wookiee leadership already being dead. At this point, they now turned against Imperial forces that were quickly becoming occupiers. This would begin something known as the pacification of Kashyyyk, where Imperial clone troopers would begin an occupation of the world and start subjugating Kashyyyk, capturing the Wookiees they could to enslave them, and sending the remaining Wookiee fighters into hiding in the woods as they began an underground resistance there. This is the state of affairs when we see Kashyyyk in The Bad Batch, by the way, with clone troopers having occupied and taken the cities, with Wookiee resistance members and those who still may be loyal to the Republic hiding in the woods. Now, this Wookiee resistance wouldn't fight alone, as they would later team up with Saw Gerrera's partisans, and it would become a battlefield up to 5 years on down the line, as we see it in Jedi Fallen Order. And we know that Kashyyyk would continue to be a thorn in the Empire's side, but it would also end up being a very valuable resource. Kashyyyk is rich in natural resources, and it has the things that the Separatists wanted from it. It was a major nexus of huge hyperspace lanes. It was home to a large HoloNet relay. It had large oil refineries and natural ore reserves. These made this planet incredibly valuable to whichever galactic government had it in their territory, and the Empire was pretty keen on maintaining control of this world, whether it was for the slave labor the Wookiees could provide, or the natural resources they could extract from Kashyyyk itself. While the Imperial occupation of Kashyyyk would endure through most of the reign of the Empire, Kashyyyk would remain a thorn in the Empire's side, with Wookiees more commonly joining the rebellion than agreeing with the Empire, and there being a constant state of fear of Wookiee uprising on Kashyyyk that would prevail throughout the reign of the Empire. The Wookiees themselves would go on to work on many large-scale Imperial projects, from the shipyards that built the massive fleet of Imperial-class Star Destroyers to the imposing Death Star, which was built primarily by Geonosians and then Wookiee slaves. This is just one tragic account of what happened to these worlds after the end of the war, particularly the worlds that were battlefields right at the end of the conflict that were already swarming with clone troopers when they transitioned to become Imperial clone troopers. And all of this comes on the heels of the Battle of Kashyyyk, which, like I said, changed the course of the history of that planet for the worst, even though the Republic won that battle. If you'd like to learn more about sort of why the Separatists wanted Kashyyyk, the valuable assets that are now in Imperial hands, I'll leave a link up here to my video breaking down the causes of the Battle of Kashyyyk. And I'd like you to let me know down in the comments whether you think the Wookiees would have ever joined the Empire willingly, particularly had they not been the victims of a violent persecution right at the start of the rise of the Empire. Do you think they would have ever made the choice to willingly join the Imperial Senate and rejoin what was left of the Republic as the new Galactic Empire? And if you have anything else you'd like to see me cover in Star Wars, you can let me know down below in the comments. Last but not least, if you enjoyed this video, head down below, hit the like button, the subscribe button, and the bell icon so you get notified when I upload new videos. So for Sci-Fi Deep Dive, I'm Colin, and I will see you next time.